moving story is presented by Singapore Logistics Association and Jurong Port, and supported by the following.
Singapore is the world's #2 logistics hub, according to a 2010 World Bank report. From the largest transshipment hub to Asia's top 5 cargo airport, Singapore offers excellent global connectivity. Besides that, the city-state also provides secure storage of art and other valuables and is a player in cold chain logistics. In this 4-part series, we pay tribute to those who work behind the scenes and around the clock to ensure on-time delivery of goods and services around the world. Attention to detail is key in transporting hazardous chemicals.
It's very important at that level that we understand what is the characteristic of the product so that we can be able to properly allocate and handle the chemicals in a safe and responsible manner.
Managing the supply chain to stay on top of the game in healthcare logistics.
During a flu pandemic, with our distribution channels, we are able to reach out to all the customers as quickly as possible.
Handling and delivering temperature-sensitive blood test kits is a challenge.
Too cold is also not good. If it goes up, too hot is also not good. So any escalations, we are aware of it.
Repacking plastic solutions in Singapore to cater to a client's logistics need.
We designed a way to take product from a container, a bulk container, and package it here in Asia instead of in the Middle East.
Catch these heroes in action as they show you that there is more than meets the eye when it comes to providing specialized logistics solutions. At the heart of Singapore's energy and chemical hub, Jurong Island has attracted over 95 global companies and has drawn cumulative fixed asset investments of over 30 billion Sing dollars. Transporting hazardous chemicals for petrochemical manufacturing requires the expertise of specialized logisticians. This is where Hoya Global Singapore comes into the picture. Established in Singapore 10 years ago, this logistics company currently delivers, on average, 220 loads of hazardous chemicals every month here. Transporting hazardous chemicals around the globe is a high-risk venture. From the moment a delivery order is placed, safety precautions kick in immediately.
When an order is placed, our Singapore operations team will actually firstly check in terms of the product that's going to be shipped. They will check through our system database to make sure that the product is suitable for carriage within our fleet of 10 containers.
This German company has been in the business for 65 years. As such, there are more than 60,000 products in the database. Once the specific product classification has been identified and the requirements of various regulations have been met, an ISO tank, a steel, pill-shaped container commonly used to transport liquids, will be assigned accordingly. A truck driver will pick up the allocated tank from a depot in Jurong. The history of every delivery undertaken by a tank is documented to certify compatibility. Since each tank is reused, its cleanliness is paramount.
It's very important that prior to the release of every equipment, the tank has to be properly washed. It has to be surveyed by an independent surveyor after cleaning. This will allow us to ensure that the next load will not be under any risk of contamination or any other issues that could arise due to the improper cleaning of the tank.
Upon arrival at a client's chemical plant in Jurong Island, the client then transfers the hazardous chemicals into the tank.
Of course, prior to the loading on site itself, the customers themselves will have their own safety checks in place to ensure that the tank's integrity is not affected. That means the safety seals are there and everything is still in place as per what has left from the depot.
Once the tank goes onto the road, transporting hazardous chemicals safely is the responsibility of this logistics provider. It is crucial that public exposure to any accidental chemical leakage is minimized, if not prevented. A chemical leakage scenario is simulated to show the safety measures taken. After reporting the leak to Hoya's corporate office, the truck driver will direct traffic and wait for the confinement team to arrive. At the same time, the Singapore Civil Defence Force, or SCDF, will also be notified. Once the confinement team arrives, they will try to neutralize the problem themselves before the arrival of SCDF. For instance, they will block any water catchment area, such as the drain, to prevent the chemicals from polluting the water. Thankfully, such a situation has not happened in Singapore.
So far, we have not had a leakage along Singapore roads ever before, and this is due to the stringent requirements and commitment between all our service partners.
After graduating with a business degree, DJ first worked for a freight forwarding firm. To keep himself updated on the development of the logistics industry, he recently completed his MBA, which focused on maritime and logistics management. He joined Hoya in 2007. He worked his way up from sales manager for Southeast Asia to area sales manager for Asia Pacific. From meeting people from different countries to overcoming different challenges, there's never a down moment in chemical logistics.
The thing that I like most about my job is that I get the opportunity to be exposed to many interesting and challenging scenarios. It's a good feeling that you know ultimately at the end of the day, you're able to solve a problem for the customers.
Singapore is one of the world's top 3 integrated petrochemical hubs, and the future of chemical logistics looks set to grow.
With the Jurong Island project that's already in place for the last few years, you'll see that there's definitely a lot of demand and growth within this sector for petrochemical logistics.
For over 45 years, Jurong Port has been making good moves in general cargo, bulk cargo, and containerized cargo. We are recognized as Asia Pacific's multi-purpose port of the year. Thinking of good moves? Jurong Port. Their aim is simple: to achieve an Islamic state. Arrested and jailed, are they now repentant?
Saya juga yang ngantarkan bom itu, saya yang mengajari yang bunuh diri. Jadi saya paling banyak. Kalau mereka bilang NKRI banyak harga mati, Islam dan harga mati kan begitu.
Jail only strengthened his faith. People like him, I cannot change.
An exclusive in-depth look at Indonesia's efforts to combat terrorism. Unbroken Faith. An original production by Channel NewsAsia. Premiering 18th March.
China is attempting to protect people against cheating spouses with a few clicks of the mouse. More on a new nationwide marriage database and just how effective it is on East Asia tonight.
Introducing the new Sharp Aquos Quatron 3D LED with 4-color technology, complete with Sharp's RGB plus Y, adding yellow to the standard RGB format, reproducing brilliant lifelike colors, now in real 3D. Bring home the new Sharp Aquos Quatron 3D LED and bring home the real world. Sharp.
The dreadful flu season hit Singapore recently. More than 17,000 people were treated by polyclinics for respiratory illnesses, including flu, in January 2011. However, there have been no reported cases of shortage of flu medicines and vaccines. This is where healthcare logisticians play an important supporting role. Leading healthcare distributor Zulik Pharma serves more than 100 principals. They range from pharmaceutical firms to medical device companies and clinical trials organizations. For flu-related treatment and prevention in Singapore, the company has a local distribution center that manages and supplies vaccines, prescription and over-the-counter medications to various healthcare providers.
For over-the-counter flu medications, we work with our brand owners very closely to ensure that the inventories are healthy. Hence, during flu seasons, we try to ensure that the inventory are enough to supply to meet the demands.
Singapore's Health Ministry has a supply of H5N1 pre-pandemic flu vaccines for the nation. The stock is stored at this warehouse. The company is always on standby to distribute the vaccines around the island during the flu pandemic.
It is very important for us to ensure that supply is met at the customer end. Hence, we coordinate and plan according to MOH distribution priority to send the products as quickly as possible to the designated customers.
A pharmacist by training, Joyce worked for a few years before going to the US to take her master's in Health and Medical Services Administration. Her domain knowledge and training came in useful when she made the switch to pharmaceutical logistics 2 years ago.
There are various skills that is required in pharmaceutical logistics. However, I think the most important is to actually understand the quality standards in pharmaceutical, as well as the background information and knowledge of pharmaceutical items to ensure that we understand why we do what we do in this particular environment.
As the Regulatory Affairs and Quality Assurance Manager, Joyce and her team make sure the Zulik Pharma's healthcare logistics operation complies with the good manufacturing practice guidelines set by the Health Sciences Authority. For instance, drugs imported into Singapore need to go through what is known as a redressing process.
When we receive a product that after some quality assurance checks realize that it's not fit for sales in the market because it doesn't comply with local regulations, we will send it for a redressing, meaning to put in an additional label or change of packaging just to make sure that they are compliant before it is being released to sales.
Healthcare logistics is all about delivering quality products in a timely manner that benefits those who require treatment or prevention.
I understand the importance of patient-centered care. Hence, quality products comes into place, and I'm very honored to be in the supply chain whereby quality products are provided to the end users.
About 350 units of blood are used every day to meet the transfusion needs of patients. Hence, there's a constant need for blood donation from the public. To ensure that the donated blood is safe for use, tests are conducted. The blood test kit consists of reagents which are used to analyze the blood. For the test kit to be accurate, reagents require special handling in their storage and distribution as they are temperature-sensitive chemicals. TNT Express Life Sciences Hub has invested in the necessary infrastructure to undertake cold chain logistics for the healthcare sector.
These four components of this reagent actually require different temperature ranges. So when it's shipped in from the US or Europe, it is kept in this temperature at different boxes. When it's stored here in Singapore, right, there are four different temperature ranges. Two are in ambient conditions, one is at about 2 degrees, and one is sub-zero, minus 27 degrees Celsius. In the storage process, TNT has built not only facilities for the physical storage, but also a temperature monitoring control system. This control center basically monitors the temperature in the storage areas 24/7.
In the unlikely event of a power breakdown, an independent power generator is on standby as part of the contingency plan. To safeguard the integrity of the product, special packages that can maintain the required temperature throughout the transportation process are used in Singapore and around the world. Once the test kits are packed and consolidated, they have to reach destination within 96 hours. If not, the integrity of the entire batch has been compromised and will not be used. With so much at stake, only a select few can handle these blood test kits. Selecting the right people for the job is key.
These are products that's going to be used to save lives, to treat people. Yeah? And it's that social need, that social importance that I think drives us to be very good in our training, but also very careful in our people selection process. People who are meticulous, people who are not willing to make mistakes, people who have that care and that passion.
The responsibility of training the right people falls on Ang Po Chin, TNT's Regulatory Compliance Manager. A pharmacist by profession, Po Chin knows the importance of upholding the integrity of healthcare products. It is this very reason that attracted her to join healthcare logistics sector in the first place.
As a pharmacist, I actually work in retail and hospital sector before, where I actually dispense the medicine to patients, but I don't have a visibility of how the drug is delivered. As a quality assurance in a healthcare logistic company, I actually oversee this whole process. So it makes me kind of assured that the product that I handle when it reaches the end user is safe and efficacy.
We are committed to using technology to innovate our operations and processes to increase productivities and reduce costs. We're in the business of supplying ornamental fish, and it is extremely important that the fish are still alive when they are delivered to the client. This is why we use Singtel's track and trace solution, because delivery on time is literally a matter of life and death.
China is attempting to protect people against cheating spouses with a few clicks of the mouse. More on a new nationwide marriage database and just how effective it is on East Asia tonight.
This week on Clickability, commuting to and from the office, meeting your colleagues and being stuck in your little cubicle every single day. Those could be relics of a bygone era. Wow, this is awesome.
I have a laptop, IP phone, camera. I have a charger for you.
When you get to work at 9 o'clock and the rest of your team is there, I think that's slowly, gradually going away.
Clickability, Wednesday at these times exclusively on Channel NewsAsia.
For over 45 years, Jurong Port has been making good moves in general cargo, bulk cargo, and containerized cargo. We are recognized as Asia Pacific's multi-purpose port of the year. Thinking of good moves? Jurong Port.
These are polyolefins, basic plastic materials that are used in many everyday products around us. These plain-looking products, however, is big business. Borouge currently produces 2 million tons of polyolefins per year in Abu Dhabi, which are then distributed across Asia Pacific. And the company wants to increase the volume to 2.5 million tons by 2014. Hence, the company decided to bring the product closer to market to reduce distribution, time and cost. CWT, the largest listed logistics company in Southeast Asia, then came into the picture. It tailor-made a logistics solution that brought Borouge closer to its customers in Asia. Eric Herman and his team took 2 years to conceptualize and to execute this project. CWT undertook the design, development and construction of a comprehensive facility that comprises packaging, warehousing and shipment forwarding, all under one roof.
What we do is when we're looking at an overall solution, we're taking various components. It's like a big mathematical equation that you're trying to piece together.
Take packaging, for example, where economies of scale play an important part. Borouge ships polyolefins in sea bulk from Abu Dhabi to its logistics partner's facility in Jurong. The location is strategically located close to the ports. Over here, polyolefins stored in 20 to 40 foot long containers are repacked into 25 kilogram bags. These individual packs are then stored at the warehouse until orders come in. Outsourcing the supply chain has benefited Borouge. It used to take a month to ship the products to customers. Today, the goods are delivered within 7 days after an order has been placed.
It's really helped our markets and help our branding to move and boost the product to our end customers.
The facility officially opened in May 2010 and up to 330,000 tons of polyolefins will be handled per year. Given the magnitude of the project, Eric regards this as one of his more challenging endeavors in his 16-year career in the logistics industry.
There's a balancing act, a timeline and a budget, working with lots of different people, different variables. What I learned most is it's very critical to always have the big picture in mind, and that everyone involved had to understand where we were going, what needed to be done, and why we needed to do it.
Having worked in Taiwan, Indonesia and now Singapore, Eric is familiar with Asia. And he believes that Singapore is the best location to establish Borouge Southeast Asia Logistics Hub.
Our customs clearance, for example, here it runs 24/7. It's very easy. Cargo comes in, you could clear it, all your documentation is done online. That's something you don't see in the rest of the world. They've invested heavily in infrastructure, in the ports and the airports. So there are special roads that move containers on trucks from one terminal to the other, so they could quickly meet up with the vessel connections here in Singapore. and quickly get to the end customers around the Asian region. Here, people are well educated, they know what's going on, they speak English very well. So when you're looking at establishing a group of people, something new, something innovative, that's where you need the right people.
Specialized logistics solutions providers have to constantly innovate to cater to an ever-evolving marketplace. Only by doing so can they provide value not just to Singapore, but the world.
For all the people out there who are interested in Chinese industry, well, the first thing is that you must have this character where you like to solve problems. You are able to react to new situations.
There is that commercial benefit to it, but more important, there's a social impact of it. My family may be using some of these products. Your family could be using some of these products. And if I do it well, I ensure the integrity of the products that's gone to ensuring lives are more enriched and the well-being is maintained.
In this pharmaceutical industry, there is continuous improvement projects. So we are constantly upgrading ourselves and exceeding ourselves.
Logistics is never about being 100% perfect. If it was, we would be out of a job. So it's always about reinventing what goes on, looking at how you could do it better, smarter, and balancing that speed to market as well as the cost involved.
A moving story was presented by Singapore Logistics Association and Jurong Port, and supported by the following: